Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here in our quaint little studio, the show where we talk about our favorite things in the world, movies and movie news, TV and streaming, all sorts of good stuff. You know, all that great stuff that gives us joy. That's what we like to talk about. I'm joined in studio here today by our technical producer, Jonathan Voico.
Good morning.
Writer, director, producer, Robert Meyer Burnett.
I'm going to Pandora tonight, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited to hear, but you probably won't get that Avengers trailer with it.
No,
It's too
sadly,
bad.
no.
I'm excited to hear your thoughts about it once you do. Anyway, guys, but most importantly, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. Here's how our show goes. We're going to start off, obviously, by talking about a bunch of topics we got lined up for you guys. And then in the second part of the show is when we're going to take your live comments and questions. If you have a thought, comment, question, or an observation you'd like us to address, as long as you're watching live and as long as it's appropriate for us to address on the show, go ahead and use the super chat feature in the live chat to send it on in. And again, as long as it's appropriate to be used on the show, we'll address it in the second part of the show. Also, a couple of items of housekeeping. Well, you guys know about. As you guys know, yesterday we announced the launch of our annual Adopt a Family program. Ann and I go to our local city government and we talk to their Adopt a Family program. Most cities have it. You should talk to your own city about it as well. And what we do is we invite you guys to join us into really making a huge difference in one family's life. We shared with you guys an Amazon wish list yesterday that had about 100 items. And here it is now. Two things are left. One scooter, which there were two we were asking for. Somebody bought it. We had a $380 Oculus Meta Quest. Somebody bought it. We had 5 tablets. People bought them. Board games, toys, dishes, bathroom stuff. Oh, yeah. You guys got it all. Except for one scooter, which is still there for somebody who can go get. And of course, just a plethora of Amazon gift cards. It's always great every year when it's all done that, yes, Ann and I give them a check, but what's also really cool is on top of all the presents and gifts that we're able to then give them a couple of $1,000s in Amazon gift cards that they can use to get whatever else their kids need or they need themselves. So yeah, guys, listen, right at the top of the description of today's show, you will find a link to this Amazon wish list. Just go on in there, buy 1 or 2 of the Amazon gift cards, or hey, get that last scooter if you really feel adventurous. And any way you can help us out. And a big thank you to all of you guys who already got so much stuff. And we're looking forward to it showing up here at our house. We'll gift wrap it all and we will deliver it. Also, last bit of housekeeping here before we do anything else is, of course, the next movie meetup has been announced. It will be held here in the LA area. It's going to be at the AMC Burbank 16 on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, December 9th, at the 7:10 p.m. screening of what doesn't sound like it's all that good of a movie, but let's go and have a good time anyway. The 7:10 p.m. screening of Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Again, the way movie meetups work is simple. If you want to come, go to the movie's website, buy yourself a ticket as normal, and we'll be there too, and we'll all watch the movie together. Then I'll hang out in front of the movie theater for about an hour or so afterwards and meet people, take pictures, that sort of thing. So I hope I get to meet you guys there.
Also, thanks to X-Men Superfans, 15 memberships.
Oh my gosh, coming in again.
Coming in hot.
It was 10
At this
and then
point,
5.
I think probably a third of all of our channel members came via X-Men Superfan.
Yeah, that or like a tornado that comes through once in a while.
Yep, every once in a while. All right, guys. With that all down, let's get things kicked off here with this, shall we? Well, you guys know that in a surprise announcement a while ago, they announced that they were going to be making a Spider-Man Noir live action series on Amazon based on the character from the animated Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And it was going to star the voice of Spider-Man Noir, Nicolas Cage, in the live action role. Well, as you guys may know, CCXP, the big Brazilian Comic-Con, is going on right now. And according to this headline, Nicolas Cage's 2026 Spider-Man spin-off series receives the perfect official poster. They have unveiled the poster for it. And Jonathan, I don't know if you've got it there or I can bring it up here. Here's
I
the
just
poster.
noticed the spider in it too.
Yep. A little spider web up in the corner.
Well, no, there's like a spider hanging just above Noir, the
Yep.
word Noir, yeah.
This poster, I don't like using the term perfect too much. This is damn perfect. I saw this and instantly I thought, I just don't know how you get any better than this. I think this is set in an alternate universes like 1920s, 1930s. And we, of course, know from Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse that Spider-Man Noir is a private detective. What's interesting, though, is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought his name in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse was Peter Parker. And here on the
Riley.
door, it says B. Riley, which must mean Ben Riley. Now, in the regular Spider-Man universe, what do they call him? The Crimson Spider? He was the clone. He was Peter Parker's clone.
Yeah.
And of course, then he's portrayed in the second Spider-Man Spider-Verse movie as well in a really well. So I don't know if this is going to be like an alias he goes by and his real name is Peter Parker.
Right.
I don't know. We'll see how this goes. Also, I don't know if this live action Spider-Man Noir is the same Spider-Man Noir that was in the animated film. So I don't know if they're saying this is yet another Elseworlds, or if they're literally saying this is that Spider-Man returned from the multiverse and now solving crimes again in his own universe. Again, I don't know which way they're going. But Rob, I mean, I couldn't help but look at this and get overtures of your audio drama.
Thank you for that.
And even the bring up the poster again, or my screen, either way. Even the font in Spider-Man Noir reminded me a lot of your project. But again, I don't know if this show is going to be total ass crap or if it's going to be good. I have no idea. Okay, I'm not saying one or the other. I simply don't know. I have my doubts, but we'll see. But this poster is great. I can't imagine making a better poster than this for this particular project. So I like what I'm seeing. Anyway, Rob, you had a chance to take a peek at this. What did you think?
I think it's fantastic. I mean, having worked in that noir space, I love this. Is very evocative. It's got that classic detective door, that every noir detective has that. The font is terrific. Even the way that the name is printed on the door and I mean, this is chef's kiss, man. I mean, it's so with the spider and everything. John, great movie poster art is kind of a lost art.
It really is.
And it used to be that the poster would, in one image, sort of mythologize what you were going to see. Like you look at the classic, the Drew Struzan Back to the Future poster.
You know one I go to a lot is the Shawshank Redemption one. Of On the Knees.
Yeah.
Like that captured the spirit of the movie
Totally,
in one frame.
Totally did. And this does that. Like, and I love the fact that the spider's behind the glass, the pebbled glass, and it's chef's kiss. Whoever did this, they were thinking, they were cooking with gas on this one.
Now, that said,
yeah,
I still kind of have my doubts about the show.
Well, yeah.
If I'm being honest, now granted, this is Amazon. I mean, they just gave us the Emmy-nominated Best Show of the Year, contender Fallout. We've got God of War coming from them, which was amazing. This is the network that puts out The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which is insane, and a ton of other shows. I don't really have any basis for being skeptical about the show. I just kind of feel it. I don't know, where are you at right now on how you're feeling about the show in general?
Well, first of all, Look, it's not going to be an easy show to make.
No,
great.
it is not.
The premise is it's got, first of all, it's a comic book show, but then it's also a comic book show combined with a whole other genre, which is noir. But I mean, look, if they're following something like this, they do have subject matter to draw from. And I think with Amazon's pedigree, I would imagine they wouldn't greenlight. Look, I didn't think that Fallout was going to be good, even though Jonathan Nolan was making it. And what a surprise. Yeah. You can tell from the first 10 minutes with that opening scene with Walter Goggins going to the party. And you could see from that opening scene, you're like, okay, I'm in. The people that are making the show know exactly what they're doing. I would imagine that this would be, plus they have a movie star. You've got Nicolas Cage doing a TV series, which is something that I wouldn't have expected to see. And I know, Nicolas Cage pretty much will do anything these days, but he's a comic book fan.
Yeah.
He's been a comic book fan his whole life. So I would imagine this is probably going to be, look, it's either not going to be good at all or it's going to be really something special. I don't think there's going to be middle ground. I'm excited, to be honest.
Listen, I got to say, a poster shouldn't do this because the poster's not even being made by the people who are making the show.
Right.
But I got to say, the poster has increased my excitement for it. It really has. So it's coming sometime in 2026. I mean, we know they've already wrapped production on it a long time ago, but it's coming sometime in 2026. Maybe by the end of CCXP, we'll actually get a date. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this new Spider-Man Noir poster? I don't know how good or bad the show's going to be, but this poster is awesome. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Well, in the ongoing drama of who's going to buy Warner Brothers, we know there are three basic finalists. It's Paramount, it's Netflix, and it's NBC Universal Comcast. Now, there has long been this feeling that Paramount probably had the edge. They were the first one to come out of the gate and make an offer for it. They've put some big money behind and all that kind of stuff. But recently we talked about the fact that it seems like Netflix is getting a little bit more traction in it. And listen, before we go into the story, let me remind you guys, or for some of you who might be new around here, let me catch you up on the fact that from the moment we found out that Paramount was interested in getting Warner Brothers, I've had some positive feelings about it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not necessarily saying I would rather nobody buys it, but you know, ever since Ellison took over, Skydance took over Paramount, we haven't seen anything come out, obviously, but some of the plans they've put forward and some of the projects they're really hooking their wagon to has really quite been exciting to me. And maybe it'll be a big disaster, but at least their mindset has me kind of enthusiastic about some of the things Paramount might be able to do if they get Warner Brothers. Again, not necessarily saying they're my number one pick, not necessarily saying I'm hoping they get it, but I've been able to see some real positive upside potential if they did. But Rob, they just did something today that literally, for the first time, has me rooting against them. I now hope they do not get this, because they pulled a mafia, it'd be a shame if your nice storefront here got all busted up kind of move. That oozes hypocrisy. Here's the story. This comes to us from Variety. Paramount's lawyers have just written a letter to David Zaslav, whining and crying like a little bitch. You guys are favoring Netflix. Let me read what it had here. It says the WB lawyers, in response to Paramount's letter to David Zaslav, wrote that Warner Brothers Discovery's board has fully and robustly complied with its fiduciary obligations. Now, I'm going to read a little bit at length because it's worth noting here. Lawyers for Paramount Skydance sent a letter to Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav expressing, quote unquote, grave concerns about the alleged unfairness of Warner Brothers Discovery's sales process. The attorney suggested the Warner Brothers Discovery board had embarked on a myopic process with a predetermined outcome that favors a single bidder. By the way, there was no crying and complaining when it looked like Paramount was in the lead. As soon as it looks like Netflix might be putting together, by the way, I'm not exactly sitting here cheering that Netflix gets it either, by the way.
No, but they got that all cash offer on the table.
They certainly do. But I mean, but they're suddenly, no. But now that it looks like, it's a real fight, now they're crying like a little bitch that you're favoring somebody. The article goes on to say this. The Warner Brothers Discovery Board is reviewing second-round bid submissions that came in on December 1st from David Ellison's Paramount Skydance, which is seeking to acquire the entire company in an all-cash deal, and Netflix and Comcast, which are bidding for just Warner Brothers streaming and the studios, the most valuable part of the whole package. Their letter goes on to say this. Paramount has credible basis to believe that the sales process has been tainted by management conflicts, including certain members of management's potential personnel interests or personal interests in post-transaction roles and compensation as a result of the economic incentives embedded in a recent amendments to the employment agreements, the December 3rd letter from Paramount Skydance lawyers to Zaslav said. The Paramount letter also alleged that it has become increasingly clear through media reporting, none of their own information, just from what they're reading in the media, it has become increasingly clear through media reporting and otherwise that Warner Bros. Discovery appears to have abandoned the semblance and reality of a fair transaction process, therefore abdicating its duties to stockholders and embarked on a myopic process. Sounds like they just learned that word that day. They had to use it twice. A process with a predetermined outcome that favors a single bidder. All right, I'm going to pause right here.
It's the word of the day, John.
Yeah. This is quite a myopic letter.
We're not going to have a myopic view of this situation.
No, because I want to point something out here.
Myopic.
The oozing hypocrisy of that last statement. Because they're sitting there in this letter. Now, again, listen, if you guys watch my show for any amount of time, you know I've got a big piece of love in my heart for Paramount. I know some people at Paramount. I've up until this point, I've been actually pretty favorable about the idea of getting this. So I'm not some Paramount hater. If you guys watch my show, you know I'm not. But one of their accusations here in this statement is, hey, wait a minute. It kind of looks like your executives are biased here because Netflix may be offering some of your executives jobs. Fuckface! You're the ones who came out first and said, hey, if you sell Warner Brothers to us, we'll make David Zaslav co-CEO and co-chairman. You fucking hypocrites! You came out first and said, oh yeah, we'll give your top executive, we'll give him a CEO role. How about that? Sweeten the sugar a bit, right? Oh, wait a minute. We heard that Netflix never said this, by the way, but Netflix might be offering some role. You did the same fucking thing. You did the same fucking thing. You insufferable dickheads. I read that and I'm like, they can't be serious. They can't be serious. And then this letter was clearly written by somebody who has no idea how business works. Because then they're like, you guys are abdicating your fiduciary responsibility to your shareholders. Hey, numbnuts. They can't sell Warner Brothers Discovery unless the shareholders themselves approve the sale. The board does not get to choose who buys Warner Brothers Discovery. They can make a decision and make a recommendation to the shareholders. But once this whole thing happens, there's a 4-step process that happens here, okay? Number one, the board, first of all, the board has to approve it. The board says, yes. Let's go and let's take Netflix and Paramount out. Let's say Comcast Universal. We decided that we think a sale to Comcast would be great. Then what comes is something called a proxy statement. That is where the board puts together a letter that they send out to all the shareholders expressing what their recommendation is and why they're making the recommendation. The third step that happens is a shareholders meeting then. Now, this all takes time. This whole process takes time. There's then a shareholder meeting where the shareholders vote on whether or not to approve the sale. And they can, and all they need is majority plus one. That's it. They just need 50% plus one. That's all they need. The shareholders themselves. So this whole thing, and it's a majority rule, this whole thing that, well, you're abdicating your financial responsibility. It's the shareholders who are going to be the ones that decide. The board will make a recommendation. The shareholders will be the ones who decide.
Pretty egotistical too, because you're insinuating that your offer is the most like fiscally responsible, and you're also showing your hand in desperation.
Yeah, I this is not a great tactic.
No, and then a little bit later in the letter, it has the audacity to say the thing out loud that a lot of people have been whispering. They basically suggest in the letter, be ashamed if your whole deal gets wrecked, because we're friends with President's fuckhole McDoucheface. And, you know, if you choose them, we just might have to use our corrupt connections to maybe try to sour your deal, which would lead, by the way, to biblical lawsuits. But that's another thing on the side.
By the way, that was a real amateur move to suggest that.
Yeah,
you don't do
really
that in
was.
writing. You know, that's something you do verbally where no one's recording you.
Not to mention the court of popular opinion now, and oh boy.
Anyway, again, right up until today, up until just this morning, I have been on the boat of, hey, listen, I would rather Warner Brothers not sell it all, but I can see some downside, sure, but I can see some real potential if Paramount ends up getting it. There could be some exciting stuff. I also think that if Netflix keeps Warner Brothers intact and stays committed to theatrical releases for Warner Brothers films, I see some potential there too. There's also some good synergy with NBC Universal Comcast, obviously. But I've been fairly pro on the whole idea of Paramount getting them. And in one move, Paramount's managed themselves to take somebody who was kind of on their side to being, oh, fuck no, I want you guys to lose. I want you to burn. Now I want your whole studio to burn. That's not really true. But I mean, now I want this whole thing to blow up in your face now. So like, congratulations, Paramount. I mean, ultimately at the end of the day, it doesn't mean jack squat what John Campea thinks. I mean, not at all. It's less than meaningless. But I mean, if it's happened to me, I'm not the only one. Maybe it's not the majority of people, but I ain't alone. You just took somebody who was actually on your side and you turned me against you. You infantile morons. Anyway, Rob, you saw this letter. What do you think of it?
I was a little perplexed by the tactics. I mean, it seems like, obviously Netflix has deep pockets and they made an offer saying, hey, we have deep pockets. Here's our offer. Well, that's when you counter. That's when you have to, okay, if our guys are up, if our opponents are upping the ante, what are we going to do to counter them? I mean, maybe they don't want to go up to $100 billion. I understand that. It makes sense to me. But writing this letter seems like amateur hour. This is not show friends. It's show business. Unless you're talking about your friendship with the current administration that you've now dangled in a letter. Not good. I mean, business is business. And, all the lessons in life, John, are contained in 2 Paramount movies, which apparently no one watched at Paramount. And that's Godfather 1 and 2.
That's right.
All you have to know about business and life itself, according to Steve Martin in the movie Grand Canyon, is in the Godfather movies. And I would even say Godfather 3 has lessons to learn. But Godfather 1 and 2, never tell anyone outside the family what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Never. Especially not in a letter. Not like that.
That's going to go public.
You want to do business with me? I will do business with you.
That was a straight Sonny move.
That's it, man. Yeah, that was a
damn
Sonny Corleone move. Yes. I mean, come on, guys. Watch Paramount's Godfather movies. You'll learn everything you need to know about life. But apparently the people at Paramount have not watched their own films, which doesn't surprise me, considering Section 31.
Get this. Now, what for any of you who watch any HGTV or been involved in buying a house yourself, right? What happened? What does a real estate agent tell some potential buyers who may not end up having the highest bid? They tell them, write the homeowner a letter. Write them a letter to tell them what it would mean to you to buy that house. Because sometimes it doesn't just come down to the bigger dollar value. Sometimes there may be other factors involved. And we've seen cases where, like a homer says, yeah, this is a single mom who's getting herself going again. And yeah, her bid's a little bit lower than the others. Dude, you've got to endear yourself to the shareholders of Warner Brothers. And I don't think you just did yourself any favors to endear yourself to the shareholders of Warner Brothers.
No.
Ultimately, it's the shareholders of Warner Brothers who make this decision. And this letter ain't doing anything to further your cause with them. If anything, there might be some Warner Brothers shareholders now who are going, oh, yeah, who are the other bidders? I just can't get over the monumental stupidity of this. And again, I'm just shocked by the oozing hypocrisy of complaining in a letter that there might have been some offers of jobs to executives at Warner Brothers if the deal goes through, when they publicly put out that we're going to give David Zaslav a co-CEO role. That's the ultimate definition of hypocrisy. So, I mean, look, I don't know. Listen, a lot of things can still happen. Like maybe this letter was sent by some over eager department in the law department, in the legal department of Paramount. And maybe their bosses are looking at this now going, no, 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 we didn't want to send that. Who knows? Maybe David Ellison himself is personally shocked at the letter and is going to refute it. I mean, I don't know. Who knows what'll happen? I like to believe in the best of people. But this was a dumb move, Rob.
And they've implicated the United States government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
You literally just blew your like cover.
Yeah, you did. I mean, now they don't have a choice but to distance themselves from that. I mean, I don't know what I'm not an expert on business, but I know this wasn't a very Star Trek thing to do.
No. Plus, they're going to be making Rush Hour 4. Come on.
Yeah, they got
and that.
That's so weird that they're taking a Warner Brothers property, a New Line property, and now they're going to release that because President Trump told them to.
Yeah, it was so
look,
weird.
that's neither here nor there. I don't care. I mean,
I don't think it's a great move, though.
That's fine. No, I don't think it's a great move, but if it's what they want to do, it's what they want to do. I have no problem with
the crux
that.
of this letter, John. It's what gave them the courage to send this
That's
letter.
right. That's right.
Again, it's I don't understand how they thought writing this letter will help our cause. I don't see how anybody in their right mind would have sat down and said, yeah, this letter, this will help us towards our goals. No, it won't. No, it won't. Now, listen, at the end of the day, Paramount may legitimately still, all above board, may end up winning this bid. They may very well. But I'm just saying, them writing this letter hurt their chances. It didn't help them. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Pretty interesting letter the folks over at Paramount decided to write to Warner Brothers, thinking that it'll help their cause. I don't know. Whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Well, with a DC universe now up and running and beloved and all that kind of stuff, a lot of people start speculating about what may or may not happen with it. We've seen a lot of speculation about the upcoming Lantern series, a lot of speculation about Supergirl, but also we got that new project, Superman, Man of Tomorrow, that is going to be coming out. And some whispers have started going around. I'm sure you've seen these reports that they may be looking at adding Wonder Woman character Steve Trevor to Superman, Man of Tomorrow. You probably saw that in some of your news feeds, some of your social media feeds. Oh, now this all comes from a legitimate report came out that said there was a casting call for a male role. Literally, that was it. Casting call for a male role. Must be Steve Trevor.
That's what first thing popped
That's
into my mind.
Thing that comes across your mind,
to be
right?
fair, as soon as they said there was going to be a female role of a certain height, everyone was like, Wonder Woman. So it follows.
Now it's Steve Trevor.
Now, this is the report that came in from Superhero Hype on Threads. Gunn responded to this rumor, stating that Steve Trevor may be on Gunn's casting list for Man of Tomorrow. This rumor originated after scooper Daniel Richtman said there is a major new male character that they are casting for Man of Tomorrow. As many people quickly began speculating, this could either be Steve Trevor or potentially Batman. Yeah.
Or literally any other male character.
Because they're going to put out a casting call for Batman. Like, please. Anyway, but Gunn, as he is off to do, decided to address it and simply put up a one-word answer. Nope. Gunn simply said when responding to the Steve rumor. Now, look, for the sake and the fun of discussion, the idea in principle of like introducing a Steve Trevor in a Superman movie, that could be interesting. I mean, again, it raises a lot of questions about what time period does Steve Trevor come from. But again, they may be bypassing that whole time shift thing and person out of time that the Gal Gadot Wonder Woman did. So Steve Trevor could very well just be a contemporary guy and stuff like that.
Yeah, and Wonder Woman doesn't leave Paradise Island until recently.
Yeah, or is off doing or other stuff, hasn't met Steve yet. Again, in principle, the idea is not bad. I wouldn't be against it. But again, I know I bring up this example a lot, guys, but it reminds me so much of back when the first images of Thanos came out and he had the 3 scars on his face and everybody instantly jumped to confirmed Wolverine's in the next Avengers movie.
Well,
Confirmed Wolverine's going to be in Infinity War.
that will be explained.
He is.
That will be explained in
kidding.
Secret Wars, that he had gone back in time. He gave him that scar.
Yeah, right.
There you go. They'll connect it all together. It's like, oh, they're casting a tall girl. That must be Wonder Woman. They're casting a male character.
Like,
Gotta be Steve
the
Trevor.
entire Superman series doesn't have enough male characters.
That they can draw from.
I mean, come on.
Again, look, I think it's good that I'm kind of torn. I, on the one hand, really like how involved James Gunn is on social media and how he'll respond and actually answer stuff, right? But even though there were a bunch of reports running around as a result of this rumor, was anybody really taking it seriously that Gunn had to address it? Because here's my fear, Rob. While on the one hand, I'm saying I kind of like that James Gunn is involved social media wise, by responding to every little thing, like even like this, what it inadvertently does is it encourages people to make up shit just to see if James Gunn will respond to it. That's the first thing. Because you know that's going to happen if it's not already happening. So like people just make up nonsense just to see if they can get James Gunn to respond to them. But the second thing that makes me worried a little bit is that if he responds so much, what happens when he doesn't respond? Everybody's going to go, oh, James Gunn didn't say anything. That must mean it's true. Because whenever something else comes out that's not true, he responds. So again, on the one hand, I like that he's so active. On the other hand, I would kind of like to see him reel it in a little bit because he could inadvertently and unintentionally cause more confusion than not. Anyway, Rob, you saw this whole story. What's your takeaway from it?
John, I mean, I just have to sigh because, you know, there's something strange to me about spoilers and the world that we live in. And I've watched this whole spoiler thing with the internet evolve over the last 30 years. To me, there is a script that has already been written. They are now breaking it down. They're building sets. They're prepping for production that begins in April. What's in that script already exists.
Yes.
We just don't know about it yet. So what's in there is already happening. They're already casting. They're already doing everything they need to do.
This is like time travel.
No, but yeah, I know. It's just we don't, as the audience, know what's happening. And yet that we've developed this weird, voracious hunger. Like, we have to know everything about this before we see it, which that impulse alone is weird because it takes away from the enjoyment of discovery when you see it first time in a movie theater.
I don't know. It's part of the love for some fans.
I know. I get it. Hey, I'm that way too. I succumb to that as well. But now we're in a world where people are just fabricating stuff. And to me, that's different than spoilers. That's different than reporting. That's different than, ooh, I saw an on-set photo. Now when people are just making things up, it seems like we passed into a world where when you read a description, first of all, people, when you're talking about a breakdown that goes out that says we're getting a male lead, as we've talked about, if it goes over breakdowns, that means the character is not necessarily a front and center character.
100%. Yeah, that's the point we've been trying to make. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the thing about business. We as film fans have to be more astute than that. Spoilerific stuff is fun, speculation is fun, but when we're betraying our ignorance of the process, it sort of diminishes us as fans. It's like, come on. If somebody says a movie has lots of characters in it, maybe they're casting for more people in the Daily Planet that get featured. Maybe they're casting, they need a new reporter, some dynamic character that's a friend of Jimmy Olsen's. Who knows? But when they're casting a major role, they want to go out, and that's what a casting director does.
Yep.
And a casting director goes and discusses with agents and
agents and casting execs that they have connections with, and they don't put out some public call.
No, a public call is for, unless they're having some real difficulty casting somebody, a public call like that is usually for a lesser character. And we as film fans, we should know that. So that's why. But then when a known scooper puts this something out, I think that's when James Gunn steps in and just has to say, nope.
Now remember, Daniel Rickman wasn't saying it was going to be Steve Trevor. He just said they're casting for a new male character in the upcoming.
But making the Steve Trevor leap, it's a leap. We should do an experiment and come up with our own ridiculous, thing and see how far we can get some rumor to propagate.
There's going to be 3 Avengers films.
Yeah, but that was that wasn't a rumor that I'd heard. I made it up. That was speculation on the picture. And by the way, we're only a few days away from finding out if that's true or not.
Yeah, we are.
3 Avengers movies, baby.
To your point, and by 3 you mean Doomsday, Secret Wars, and a Doomsday Part 2 that happens in between Doomsday and Secret Wars.
or something
else. What we've been speculating for a bit. I shouldn't say this, but I will.
Yes. Here it comes.
No, I'm about to tell you what I'm not going to tell you. I know that sounds weird, but
I understand. That's what she said.
I have literally been contacted by somebody involved with Avengers Doomsday, and she has offered to tell me anything I want to know about it. Like, literally, she wrote to me and said,
why does she have to harsh your mellow? If she tells you everything.
That's the thing. She didn't write to me and just blurt out a bunch of stuff. She says, if you want, I'll tell you anything you want to know. And I am sitting here like, oh.
Don't do it, dude. Oh. Don't give in to hate.
Up until this point.
It leads to suffering.
Up until this point, I have not.
Did you ask her if there was going to be a 3rd Avengers movie?
Yeah.
I haven't responded. But it's so tempting. It's so tempting.
Don't. You know what? It's a troll from Indonesia. They're just gonna,
I've
a
verified who it is. I've verified who it is. So anyway,
is it Brie Larson?
But to your point, but I mean, to your point that we as film fans, yeah, we want to know this stuff, man.
I know.
And listen, I'm just gonna speak for myself. I have gone into movies that I already knew everything about.
Yeah.
Didn't affect my enjoyment of it at all.
No, me neither.
I'm not saying that's true for you or for anybody else. I'm just saying for me, I have gone into movies where I've known a whole bunch of stuff, if not everything, and my enjoyment level wasn't affected. So, but anyway, that's just me. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? James Gunn has shot down that rumor flying around that they might be looking to put Steve Trevor in the movie. I don't know. Listen, I think it could have been interesting if they did do that, but obviously they weren't. Or whatever you guys feel about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this. Yesterday, we talked about the upcoming series Spartacus, the House of Ashur. We spoke about it in the terms that showrunner Stephen S. DeKnight was saying he's completely pushing the limits of sex and violence on TV with it.
Yeah.
And we had this big discussion about it, about, where should a line be? When is it okay to do that? Pardon me. When is it okay to do that? Maybe as fans, when is it not okay for them to do that? It's pretty interesting. But the question remained, is the show going to be any good? Now, the original Spartacus series, for me, is in my top 5 all-time favorite shows. I love that show. And by the way, our own Aaron Cummings was in that series, playing Spartacus's wife. And as of right now, Spartacus House of Ashur is holding a 100%. Now, there's a catch.
Who are those 7?
Well, the catch is there's 7. There's 7. But to its benefit, some of those 7 are actually big, serious, legit reviewers. Let me just jump over and take a look. CBR, for example, liked it. There is such a solid fan base for Spartacus that this sequel has little to no worry about. Terabe has barely aged a day in the 12 years since the original's finale, and any evidence of it only works to his advantage. What's Alan Watching liked it. RogerEbert.com liked it. It offers us a rarity in the world where prequels and reboots threaten to stifle all originality, a spin-off series that not only honors the legacy of its predecessor, but one that at times rivals it. The Wrap, a major outlet, liked it. They said in making, I don't know how you're going to pronounce this, Achillea? Anyway,
Achillea?
A woman who is
like
scarred
Achilles.
Achillea, who is scarred both physically and emotionally, creator, showrunner, executive producer Stephen S. DeKnight and his writers has fleshed out a character who could have been just a plot stunt into one that is a welcome addition. Variety Magazine liked it. They said, overall, Spartacus House of Ashur is a dynamic follow-up to the previous chapters, a classic tale of the haves and have-nots in ancient Rome, where power means everything, and tonight's world is as enticing as ever. The Pittsburgh Tribune liked it. They said, the franchise's delicious character drama amps up a few episodes into the season. This is the good stuff that makes Spartacus more than the sum of its arguably gratuitous parts.
All right. I want to see gratuitous.
Collider liked it, saying Spartacus House of Ashur essentially pulls off the miraculous, leaning on the mythological extravagances of ancient Rome belief to rewrite history and give a character a new lease on life. So now, 100%, not a ton of reviews, but the ones that are coming in are from legitimate big outlets who might be predisposed to discarding something like Spartacus House of Ashur. I have not seen any of it myself. I believe it starts later this week. I think it launches within the week. You know what? No, I think it launches tomorrow. But you got to have stars to watch it.
Yeah.
Hands up, everybody who has stars. Bueller.
I don't even know where to get stars.
Yeah,
I
maybe I do.
don't
I have
even
no
know
idea
where
if
to
I have
get
it.
stars right now either. Do you know where to get it, Jonathan?
No, maybe I have it.
Is it part of something else?
I
think
don't
you can
know.
get it. I know you can get it through Amazon,
There you go.
but
Yeah,
I am relieved because I thought you were going to say it was like this guy giving all the reviews.
Yeah. No, like Variety, The Wrap, RogerEbert.com. I mean, it's good stuff. Look. I'll probably have to go and sign up for Amazon tomorrow because, again, Spartacus is one of my top 5 all-time favorite shows. And this looks like it's the same showrunner. It looks like remember, Stephen S. Tonight's showrunner, I mentioned this yesterday.
Yeah.
He's also the showrunner of season 1 of Daredevil on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
He's the same guy. I love him. I've had a chance to meet and talk with him a couple of times. I love the dude. So I've got a lot of hope for this. Again, want to keep this very clearly in frame. 7 reviews. Legit reviews, but 7 nonetheless. Let's see what happens once more start pouring in. Probably there's not more because nobody else knows if they have stars either. Anyway, Rob, you're hearing these reviews. What are you thinking?
All kidding aside, it does sound promising. I mean, I enjoyed Spartacus as a series as well, and I love this period. I'm a sword and sandals guy, and I think, post Gladiator, post Wolfgang Petersen's Troy, we got some really good material. We got HBO's Rome, which only lasted 2 seasons, but that was an incredible show. Spartacus kind of picked up the reins of that in a way. More exploitation, but it was good. So this kind of thing, I mean, look at this picture. Who doesn't? That looks cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, I and if that's our female gladiator, bring her on.
It is.
I and the one reviewer commented on that. I mean, she looks like a badass. So just make it cool. Make it good. And if you have this kind of palace intrigue and this kind of, this kind of drama, love it. I'm sure it's great. And you know what? We need it. We need gratuitousness. We need pushing the boundaries. I want the filthy and I want blood and guts like I've never seen in the arena before.
And again, the great thing is that Stephen S. Tonight is able to do all that stuff while using it to enhance the atmosphere of the story.
Of course, and that's what you want.
And
great
that's the
characters,
difference
great...
between any 4th grader being put in boobies and like a real artist like him. And I'm getting more excited about it. I admittedly have not hyped up this show much over the past years. We knew it was coming. I've kind of been sort of really going back, even though I love the original Spartacus, going back to that well. But everything I've been seeing and hearing lately has been pretty positive. So I'm excited to check it out tomorrow if I can figure out how to get stars. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? The reviews from big outlets like Variety and The Wrap, they're all giving it, well, everybody who's seen it so far has given this thing a pretty positive outlook. Are you looking forward to Spartacus, the House of Ashur? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, we still have a bunch of things we got to talk about, including Dune 3. There are some reports going around that they are going to move their release date up. We're going to discuss that. Also, the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 reviews have come out, and they're abysmal. We're going to discuss that. And it's looking like the Batman 2 is going to be adding the Black Widow herself, Scarlett Johansson, to it. What does that mean overall in the big picture? Who could she be playing? We're going to talk about that and a whole bunch more. But before we do, we're going to take a quick second here and thank one of the sponsors of today's episode of the John Campea Show, our friends at BetterHelp. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, BetterHelp. Hey guys, we are right now in the middle of the holiday season, and this is always the time of year when traditions take center stage. For me, one of the small traditions I've had for myself since I was a teenager is taking at least one night during the Christmas season to just spend completely by myself, to just reflect on the year that was and how I want to improve myself in the year that's coming. The holidays can be joyful, but they can also be stressful, overwhelming, even lonely. So if you're thinking about starting therapy or getting back into it, BetterHelp is a great way to begin. BetterHelp has fully licensed therapists who work under a strict code of conduct, and they do the matching work for you. The way it works is you fill out a short questionnaire. They use over 12 years of experience to match you with someone who fits your goals. And if it's not the right fit, you can switch anytime from their tailored recommendations. With over 30,000 therapists and more than 5 million people served, the platform's average live session rating is 4.9 out of 5 from more than 1.7 million reviews. So this December, start a brand new tradition by taking care of you. Our listeners get 10% off at betterhelp.com/Campea. That's betterhelp.com/Campea. And thank you to our friends at BetterHelp for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show. All right, guys, with that down, let's get on to this, shall we? Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is coming. Listen, when they first announced that they were doing a Five Nights at Freddy's movie, for a good year and a half that it was in production and waiting for it to come out, I was beside myself excited about it. I thought it was such a great idea. It's legit, Rob, the only video game that is horror video game that's ever given me the creeps. No other video game ever has. I'm just built that way, I guess. It's just whatever.
Did you ever play Alien Isolation?
I have not played Alien.
That gets in your head.
Scary.
And you have it bases it on like your movement and the sound you make.
Yeah.
But yeah, like none of the Resident Evil stuff, none of the others never gives me, I mean, good games, but never made me feel scared or anything like that. But Five Nights at Freddy's, that one legitimately kind of freaked me out when I was playing it. It kind of gave me the goosebumps and chills as I was playing it, right? It's really weird. So I was excited about the movie. Now, I went to go see the movie, and I did not love it. I didn't think it was the worst thing I'd ever seen. For me personally, I didn't think it was all that good. But a lot of people did like it. And it went over well with a lot of the fan base. And it made some really good money for what it was. I mean, it really did. So, obviously, they're doing a part 2. Here it comes. And by the way, most of the other critics kind of liked Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Well, the reviews for Five Nights at Freddy's 2 are now coming out. And the critics that liked it before apparently don't like it now. Now, when I go over to the Rotten Tomatoes page, they're not giving a number yet. So I had to do my own maths. I wasn't told there would be any math on this test.
No, their math wasn't mathing, so you stepped in?
I did some maths.
I'm going to guess 12%.
The last one I did, I think there might have been a couple more reviews added since I did it, but when I counted it up last time, it was 8 to 9%.
Wow. I thought I was low.
8 to 9%. Might be a little bit higher right now, might be a little bit lower, but it's not good. So let's go over and see what some of the critics are saying about Five Nights at Freddy's 2. We'll start with our friend Jeremy Johns, who says who did not like it, said there are plot holes that make this thing not make sense. It's pretty straight to the point. Culture Mix wrote, who did not like it, the lackluster and sloppy made horror flick Five Nights at Freddy's 2 only manages to confirm two truths in movies. 1, most sequels are inferior to the original. 2, most video game adaptations are terrible. Yeah, trying to change both of those, but apparently this one didn't do it. Mortal Cinema didn't like it and wrote, I like these movies better than most critics, yet I don't love them as much as I'd like. Daily Dead did not like it, gave it a 1.5, said, game creator Scott Cawthorne delivers one of the sloppier screenplays of the year, relying on video game logic to propel the film's narrative and displaying an utter lack of faith in the intelligence of his young viewers. Comicbook.com gave it a 1.5 out of 5, did not like it, saying simply giving the audience what they're expecting and winking at the cameo is easy. Subverting expectations and trying to push the material into new places would have been challenging, but is avoided at all costs. Diego Battle wrote, did not like it, said, while the dark humor only works in dribs and drabs, and while the acting is far from virtuoso, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 at least has the merit of opting for a more analog and handcrafted horror than digital. The Rap did not like it, saying the script is the quintessence, is that how you're saying? Of lead. Quintessence, thank you. I was going to say the quintessential, but that's not what it said. Of lead. It lumbers from functional scene to functional scene at a Gollum's pace with a dismal of logic that borders on the contemptuous or the insane. Randy Meeks didn't like it, said the plot of Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is a complete mess that unless you're highly motivated is confusing even when it tries to be simple. The New York Times did not like it. The story, overworked and drained of tension, is a watered-down cocktail of damaged childhoods and parental neglect, and whatever attempts at humor are mustered, save for the scenes involving the impish Ulrich, land awkwardly. Adrian Massent didn't like it, saying, while it delivers on the basics, it ultimately betrays what made the first film appealing. The mystery lurking in the shadows, the darkness of what is hinted at, rather than the empty and predictable scares put front and center. Richard Krause didn't like it. Hollywood and Toto didn't like it. Then Fandom Wire gave it a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. They loved it. Said with better scares and more surprises, Scott Cawthon stays true to Five Nights at Freddy's loyalists while improving remarkably all around, creating one of the strongest PG horror flicks recently. Well, I'm glad he liked it. Screen Rant didn't like it. Den of Geek did.
All right.
Barely.
2.5 out of 5.
Yep.
I don't know if that counts.
Well, they gave it a tomato, so
They just over the.
they just barely liked it. Bloody Disgusting didn't like it. NME didn't like it. The Associated Press didn't like it. Variety didn't like it. Game Radar didn't like it, and goes on and on and on. It might be lower than 9% at this point. All right. Now, I think the majority of the critics, I could be wrong about this. Hold on, let me look this up. Five Nights at Freddy's Rotten Tomatoes. I can't remember what the score of the first one was, but I think it was significantly better than that. Well, it wasn't great. It was 33%. It was 33%. But clearly less like it this time around. I wasn't a big fan of the first one, even though I was excited for it. But, you know, when a sequel like this comes out, I go in with optimism, Rob, that the filmmakers looked at the first, figured out what worked and what didn't work, build on the things that worked, try to improve or eliminate the things that didn't work. Doesn't sound like that's what happened here. Now, again, we got our movie meetup coming next Tuesday, and I'm looking forward to going in with a full theater of people and having just fun watching this thing, whether it's good or bad. But now look, Rob, obviously Five Nights at Freddy's was never designed to be Shakespeare, right? Nobody's asking for it to be a Best Picture contender. Nobody's asking for it to, you know, have huge artistic merit. Just make it fun, make it enjoyable. And it sounds like a lot of people aren't having fun or enjoying it. Anyway, are you surprised to hear about this? What did you think about the first one? And what are you taking away from these reviews?
You know, I didn't love the first Five Nights at Freddy's, and I never played the game. But there's great potential here. And I was actually, to be honest, I thought the trailers for this looked pretty good. You know, I thought it looked like a bigger film than the first one. It looked really interesting. It bums me out to hear this, to be honest. And I think that, you know, I'm not saying that everything needs to be Shakespeare, but you can take an approach to everything that you're aspiring to be as good as Shakespeare. Within the context of a Five Nights at Freddy movie, you can go one way or another. And I'm always of the opinion that you try and always deliver. You take a premise. Look, an audience doesn't become a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's because of its camp value. Like you said, it's the only video game you've ever played that scared you. If that's the case, lean into that. But it seems to me like the people, it happens a lot with our IPs, not just here. People don't take them seriously. They look at them and go, ugh, it's just Five Nights at Freddy's, so we don't have to approach it like The Exorcist. And I'm like, you kind of do. You're not making The Exorcist, But what you're trying to do is take your premise seriously enough that you can inject it and imbue it with real horror. That's what your audience wants. They want to feel that when you go into a horror film, whether it's got a goofy premise or not, you want it to fulfill the premise of what it is. And if it can't do that, then you failed. And I feel that this bummed me out because I was really looking forward to this, and I'm depressed. You've depressed me.
Again, listen, a lot more people than I did like the first one, so maybe I'll like this one. I don't know. We'll see. Guys, question is for you. Have you been looking forward to Five Nights at Freddy's 2? We're doing our movie meetup in Burbank of it on Tuesday. I hope I enjoy it. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this. December 18th, 2026 has been a date on the calendar circled by a lot of film fans because as things stand, there are two big movies scheduled to come out on that same day. One of them is Dune 3. The other is Avengers Doomsday. Both set to come out on the same day. Some people look at that and say, it's our next Barbenheimer. The difference is, whereas Barbenheimer, it had two polar opposite types of films that were going after completely different audiences that both propelled and buoyed each other at the box office that weekend. The problem with this is that you got a lot of cross-pollination of the people who want to be going to see Dune 3 and want to go see Avengers Doomsday. There's a lot of shared audience there. Not 100% shared audience, but a lot of shared audience. Therefore, a lot of us have been speculating for a while that one of them's going to move, and it's probably going to be Dune 3. And when and if it does move, I don't think it's going to move deeper into 2027 because I think they want that Oscar season release, which is something they kind of screwed themselves out of with the delay of Dune 2 that came out. Well, as of today, according to Superhero Hype here, there are stories going around, the whispers, nothing official, want to make that clear, but the whispers are starting to go around that Dune 3 is indeed going to get moved. Now, again, let me re-emphasize this. This is nothing official. Nobody's gone on record at the studios, at the production company, none of the cast, not Denis Villeneuve himself, have come out and confirmed this. But the whispers are now starting to go around that the decision has been made over there at the studio to move Dune 3 and to move it up. So earlier than December 18th. All right. This information, again, could be completely accurate. We've been suspecting this for a while that this would happen. So this would track with what we think the logical thing to do is. But again, let's emphasize, this is not official, but it is the word that's going around. Okay, so let's take it as gospel just for the sake of discussion, okay? This is the right move. This is the right move. Look, as much as I think Dune 2 is the single best movie made in the last 10 years. Not everybody agrees with me on that. That's fine. But just so you know, that's how I feel. I think it's the single best movie made in the last 10 years. Let's be honest. It ain't going to be anywhere near as big as Avengers Doomsday. Nor is the hype for it going to be anywhere near the hype for Avengers Doomsday. The problem that Dune 3 faces in releasing on December, what did I say it was, 18th? 2026. What's that?
16th. I saw. I'm going to look it up right now.
Yeah, maybe. It's the 18th.
Okay.
December 18th, 2026. The problem they face is not just that same day Avengers Doomsday is coming out. The problem they also face is the attention black hole that the hype and the PR machine about Avengers Doomsday is going to be. It's going to dominate most of the conversation, even before the movie comes out. I've been saying for a while, Rob, I think the absolute right move for these guys is to maybe even keep it in December, but put it out in that first week of December, maybe end of November, December 1st, 2nd, 3rd, somewhere around that. Separate it from Doom. You don't have to separate it from Doomsday by much. 2 weeks. Separate it by 2 weeks. I honestly think that's all they need. So again, if these stories and reports going around end up being valid, I think it's absolutely the right move. And I think it's the right move to move it up and keep it in that Oscar year keep it in the award season rather than what the writers and actors strike forced them to do with the last Dune movie, which was to push it into the early part of the following year. I think it's the right move to move it, and I think it's the right move to move it up instead of back. And ultimately, even though this report isn't confirmed yet, I've been saying this for a long time, this is what I think is going to happen. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. We'll find out. Rob, we've been talking about this for a while now.
Yeah.
I guess a couple of questions. Number one, do you think these rumors and these reports will end up being true? Number two, assuming that they are for the moment, do you think it's the right move? Would you do something differently? How do you see it?
Well, first of all, I was really excited for Doomsday. I really was. I was really pulling for that.
I'd be there for both.
I was hoping that the studios would team up and do some badass ad campaign and we get some great combination movie posters and artwork. That said, I knew that was never going to happen. Not really, because nothing that cool ever would happen, because no one wants to make the world that cool. So it was obvious. I actually thought that Doomsday would be the movie that would move up, to be honest. But it makes sense that it's Dune. But yeah, I mean, Dune opening over Thanksgiving, we've talked about on this show that if they did move one of these things up, that they would move it up and not into 2027.
Yeah.
And both of these movies have been in production for quite some time. So it's not like they're having delays. The Avengers date is a push. They pushed it 6 months. So it was originally going to come out, in the summer.
Yeah, Dune was originally going to have that spot to itself. Disney decided we're going to push it.
Yeah. And the thing is, with Dune, the thing about Dune, I would imagine, being that it's the third movie, they've probably got that production methodology, especially their post-production methodology, down in terms of visual effects and in terms of the unbelievable. I mean, the Dune movies have the single greatest sound mixes, I think, ever done in the history of cinema. I used to think it was Blade Runner 2049, but that's also Denis Villeneuve.
Right,
but no, the sound of I wish I want to sit there. I wish I could figure out a way I could be allowed in to just sit in on the sound mixing session. Yeah, on the mix.
Yeah.
Just to see how they do it. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand how good you play that in an Atmos system. It sounds like they're in your room playing those percussion instruments. It's unbelievable. But it makes sense since they've already got that down and they're already probably working with most of the same people, that their flow, they even though they finished production after after Doomsday, that Dune would come out first simply because they could probably get it done and not have an issue.
Right.
And so that it makes sense. I mean, it makes sense to me. Plus, look at it this way. It's still almost a year away. So I don't think that they're going to be stressed out about getting something finished.
They got tons of time.
Yeah.
Hell, they could honestly, I don't think it would be any issue for them if they really wanted to move it. They could move it into October. And I don't think they would have any issue having this movie because they've wrapped. I mean, Timothée Chalamet confirmed a while ago that they've wrapped shooting. Maybe they do some pickup shots at some point, but I don't think they'd have any problem being ready.
The thing is, you get that Thanksgiving week. Like, you open it in the week. I mean, if you want to open it, but you get like what happened with Wicked or what happened with Zootopia 2. You want to have that Thanksgiving holiday and play it out.
Jonathan, can you look this up? What's scheduled right now to open in the Thanksgiving weekend of 2026? Because I don't know off the top of my head what's supposed to come out then. Anyway, sorry, Rob, I interrupted.
No, I just that's it. I just think that would be the way to go. I mean, that Thanksgiving holiday, I'm sure that's already it's probably already stacked in terms of what's coming out. But I would imagine that would be a place.
Not really. It's
well, there you go.
So we got The Hunger Games Sunrise on the Reaping is November 20th.
I don't think that's going to be that big.
But then other than that, Father-in-Law, Hexed, which is animated, and then Violent Night 2, which was David Harbour.
They're
that's
putting
a small
out
film.
Father-in-Law
November
over the
20th
holiday
on
weekend?
Yeah.
Well, because Meet the Fockers,
Fly Home for the Holidays.
It's a family movie.
I still don't think anybody's going to go see that movie. I hope I'm wrong about that. I really. And by the way, listen, I have very little doubt. That Warner Brothers and Disney have discussed this.
Of course.
Listen, Disney doesn't want Dune 3 opening on the same day as their Avengers Doomsday either. So I wouldn't be shocked at all to find out that, hey, tell you what, next time we got a scheduling conflict, we'll give you the nod. Or hey, we both are looking at a release date in 2028.
Are you sure? Because the ABC problems they had with the administration, that Disney didn't write a letter to Warner Brothers and said, "Look, we're going to have the White House call, if you don't move Dune."
I think so.
Is that gonna happen?
Probably don't think so.
You never know, because that's clearly the way to do business these days.
Yeah, but I don't think Warner Brothers or Disney are doing that at this point yet. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? I mean, we've been speculating for a long time that we thought Dune would move, and we thought it would move up. Now there are actually some whispers and stories and rumors going around that that's exactly what's happening. I'm sure we'll find out in the probably coming couple of weeks. But what do you think should happen here? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, let's talk about this. Well, we were talking about Avengers a minute ago. And of course, one of the OG Avengers was Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow, who tragically and heroically, self-sacrificially died in Endgame. Well, now she's coming back to the superhero world, but it ain't in Marvel. Because according to Variety, Scarlett Johansson is now in talks for Matt Reeves's and Robert Pattinson's The Batman 2. They write the following over at Variety. Scarlett Johansson is in negotiations to join the cast of The Batman Part 2, starring opposite Robert Pattinson's Cape Crusader. The DC Studios film, directed by Matt Reeves, is expected to begin shooting next spring for an October of 2027 release from Warner Brothers. The Batman opened in theaters in March 2022, so this thing will be like 5 years after the original, and grossed $772 million at the worldwide box office. Reeves and co-writer Matt Tomlin completed their script for the long-awaited sequel in June. Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman is not expected to return for the film, according to sources with knowledge of the production. All right. Let me address a side issue here first. Since this story broke yesterday, I've seen a lot of discussion online saying, well, I guess that's it. She's not coming back into Marvel. She's not going to be in the MCU. We're not going to see Black Widow again. I'm not saying that we will. But why does this myth still exist amongst film fans that if an actor is in one movie with one studio, they can't also be in another movie in another studio? That doesn't exist.
Flame on.
I mean, you can make the argument, yeah, but he left one and went to the other. I mean, that just doesn't exist.
No.
There is absolutely nothing stopping Scarlett Johansson from appearing in a DC movie or a Universal movie or a Lionsgate movie or any movie, and also coming back to reprise her role as Black Widow in a Marvel film if they want and if she wants. Again, I am not saying she's coming back for any of the new Avengers movies. I'm not saying she is, but I'm simply saying, guys, if she does, and it looks like she is going to be appearing in the Batman, that does not exclude her from coming back from Marvel at all. Okay, now with that out of the way, let's get to the second little elephant in the room. As always happens, some people are going to say, well, wait a minute, John, she's not in it. It says she's in talks, so maybe she won't be. That is technically true, but you have to understand that once it gets down to the point where they're now negotiating, that means the casting's done. You get to the point of negotiating once the studio's decided, yes, this is the actor we want, and the actor says, yes, I want to be in this. That means it's done. Now they're just working out the terms. Now, one time I remember, Rob, and maybe you can, I'm sure there have been others. The one time I can remember it hitting that stage where now, okay, they've decided, now they're in talks, was when Joaquin Phoenix backed out of being Doctor Strange. Because he also hit that point where they entered negotiations. But honestly, I think it's like 1 out of every 100 times. So I feel pretty comfortable at this point. Not that it's a guarantee, but I feel pretty comfortable at this point saying, as I do whenever we see reports like this, yeah, she's going to be in the Batman too. Okay,
it depends what outlet's reporting it as well.
Yeah, and again, this one is Variety that's reporting. So that's as reliable as it gets. Yep. All right. Now, with that said, let's talk about it for a second. Number one, it is always a good idea to add talent. Scarlett Johansson is an Academy Award nominated actress. She's going to have Oscars on her mantle before her career is over. She is absolutely phenomenal. And she brings a cachet with her as well. She's Scarlett Johansson. She's one of the true big female movie stars in the world. Again, that doesn't mean every movie she's going to be in will make big box office automatically, but nobody's going to deny looking at Scarlett. She's a big major superstar. Okay. So adding her to this, and she's Oscar pedigree kind of material. This is fantastic. I mean, this is a terrific addition. Now, who could she be playing? One of the big names I've seen thrown around the most, including in our own chat before the show started, was Poison Ivy. I'll go on record right now. I don't believe it's going to be Poison Ivy.
No.
I'd be shocked because Poison Ivy is a supernatural character. And Matt Reeves' world is not a supernatural world. It just isn't. I don't see a fit. Now, I had a little discussion in the live chat before the show started. Somebody said, well, couldn't they adapt Poison Ivy and just say she's developed this plant-based poison? I say you can, but then that's not really Poison Ivy anymore. Like a Poison Ivy that literally cannot control plant life. That's kind of her main thing. So I don't think that's Poison Ivy anymore. Vicky Vale is one that gets brought up a lot. It's possible, but I don't think so. Some people thinking Phantasm. Also possible. I don't see that fitting in with Matt Reeves' universe either. You know, if I had Talia al Ghul's one that's been thrown around a lot.
That would be a good one.
That wouldn't be a bad one.
I mean, we saw her in Dark Knight, you know.
She can use her. And Scarlett Johansson's brought a lot of physicality to her various roles, so that would probably be a good thing. Harley Quinn, don't think so. Although Scarlett Johansson would be a pretty good Harley. She really would. Here's my guess. All right. My guess is none of the above. I honestly don't think she's going to be a stalwart comic book character. If anything, she might end up being a character that has appeared here or there in the comics. I'm betting she's going to be something like, I don't know, she's the interim CEO of Wayne Enterprises. Bruce Wayne isn't around much to actually run the company. The board has elected her. She's like a head or a character likened unto that. I don't think she's going to be a Batwoman. I don't think she's going to be a Barbara Gordon. I don't think she's going to be an Al Ghul, although I do kind of like that one. Kind of like that one. Here's one other potential. Of the Batman pantheon of villains, we've always said that one that would take just a very little bit of adaptation would be needed is Mr. Freeze. He's got an incredibly dramatic story. Obviously, the most heavy of the dramatic story elements of his are connected to Nora. Maybe she's Nora, and she plays more of a prominent role. I think the ultimate answer is none of the above. I think she's going to be like some kind of a heavyweight character that is not necessarily a comic book based or superpowered or superhero or supervillain character. So I don't know. We'll see. Rob, I guess there are 3 questions here. Well, really 2. Let's go with 2. Number 1, do you like the addition of a Scarlett Johansson to a Batman? And then number 2, what theories do you have about who she could be playing?
Well, look, I've always loved Scarlett Johansson all the way back to Ghost World, which was one of her first comic adaptations. But look, I think you're really missing the obvious. I think that it's a gender-swapped Stevie Trevor.
Steve.
Oh,
combining all the rumors.
So the rumors are all true.
One.
You know, it's just they got them wrong.
Stevie Trevor.
Daniel got wrong. No, but
Is Stevie Trevor on the edge of 17?
Yeah.
On the edge of 17.
Or, you know, I was going to make a One Tree Hill joke, but I've already made too many of those today. I think that this also could be a new character.
Yeah.
That is created for the film itself.
100%.
I mean, we're always looking at things that have already been done. And I think one of the interesting things about the way, I mean, obviously with Batman, you have Commissioner Gordon, you have Batman, you have the Batman family that we've been seeing for a long time. But because of Matt Reeves' grounded real world perspective, I wouldn't be surprised if they've leaned into and they've created a new character that we don't know about that's going to have a lot of importance in Batman's life or somehow interacting in a way that we might not have considered simply because of the kind of movie it is. And the problem when we talk about who these villains are, it's always the same 3 or 4 or 5 villains.
Yeah.
And there's so much rich history. I wouldn't be surprised if they've delved into Bat history and pulled out somebody really obscure that they have a great take on, that you can be like, oh yeah, this character appeared in, Batman Family 197 from 1963 or something like that. Look, I just made that up. I have no idea what that is. But you know what I mean? And it could be like that. And I could see Matt Reeves being the kind of filmmaker and writing and it would be a showpiece character. You're introducing somebody that's brand new that makes this series of films unique. And I would lean in that direction more than I would, Poison Ivy. Because just like you said, Poison Ivy is a supernatural character. And even Mr. Freeze is pushing it in this universe.
Yeah. I mean, again, it would take more minor adjustments because of the nature of it, because it's mostly science-based and whatever.
Yeah.
But you're right. Even that is a little bit of a stretch.
Because I love the portrayal. I love Zoe Kravitz's portrayal of Catwoman in The Batman.
I really liked her too. Yeah.
But if you look at the way that character was portrayed and her backstory, it fit that Batman universe.
Yes.
And so, look, I'm excited for Scarlett Johansson's edition, and I think whoever she's going to play, I'm excited she's there.
Now, I've seen some people in our own live chat also throwing out Wonder Woman. She's the new Wonder Woman. There are 2 problems with her being Wonder Woman. Number one is that while it's fine if they want to make this change, she's quite petite. She's a shorter girl, which is fine. That's great. But I mean, I don't think that's the way they're going to go. The bigger problem though with the idea of Scarlett playing Wonder Woman is that she's 41.
Right.
Again, which is fine to play Wonder Woman. But at the very beginning of the DC universe, they're looking to cast somebody as Wonder Woman who can be Wonder Woman for the next 10, 11, 12 years.
And they could have the Trinity grow together.
Yeah. And I don't think Scarlett, while Scarlett is perfectly good to play Wonder Woman for a year or two, I don't think you're going to want to have somebody playing Wonder Woman who's 55, right? And that's ultimately what she'll be by the time they stretch out. So I think they're probably going to look for somebody at most in their early 30s for somebody like that. But that still leaves a lot of juicy characters that Scarlett can be playing. And let's not throw out the idea that, one of the members of the Court of Owls or something like that. But again, I'm with you, Rob. I'm going to fall under the category of none of the above. I think it's going to be a brand new character. And again, I got nothing to base that on. This is just me guessing, just a guess. I have no insider information. Okay. I'm just guessing, but yeah, I think I like that idea. So, and her adding to this, listen, her and Robert Pattinson, again, Pattinson is one of the most sought after, talented actors right now of our generation. She, again, is Oscar caliber. My God, maybe she's just going to be the voice on the other end of the phone. She's going to be her all over again. She's Bruce Wayne's AI.
I want to see a sequel to her. I want that operating system to come back from wherever they went.
Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Number one, what do you think about Scarlett Johansson joining the DC universe, at least Matt Reeves' corner of it, and joining the Batman 2? And then secondly, what theories do you have about who she could be playing? Maybe you think like me that it's a none of the above, or there's a huge list of characters it could be. Maybe you think it's going to be one of those. Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With all that down, it's time for us to move on to the most important part of our show, which is, of course, taking your live comments and questions. Just so you know, we're going to be taking the questions that you guys have been sending in via Super Chat during the show. I am turning off the Super Chats by the end of our sponsor message. So if you still have one you want to send in, you've got about a minute and a half to send one in. Go ahead and do that, but then I'm turning them off at that point. But before we do that, we got to bid good afternoon to writer, director, producer Robert Meyer Burnett. Great job as always, sir. We'll see you tomorrow.
Going to Pandora, dude.
Enjoy yourself, my friend.
I will.
And now let's take a second and thank another sponsor of today's episode of the John Campea Show, our friends at Aura. Guys, we want to take a second and thank a sponsor of this video, Aura. Guys, if you are anything like me, you swear every year you're going to be on top of your Christmas shopping, and then suddenly it's December 20th, the shelves are empty, and you're standing around in Target asking yourself, does my aunt even like candles? But this year, I am not doing that because of Aura Frames. It's completely saved me. See, I always struggled with what to get people in my life, but this year I'm going to give out a couple of Aura Frames, and it's hands down the most personal, meaningful gift that I can possibly give. And here's the best part. Aura lets you upload unlimited photos and videos. Plus, the frame comes in a premium gift box with no price tag, so it feels like a classy, well thought out gift, even if you bought it last minute. Guys, you can't gift wrap togetherness, but you can frame it. So for a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames named #1 by Wirecutter by using promo code CAMPEA at the checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code Campea. This deal is exclusive to our listeners and frames sell out fast. So order yours now to get it in on time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning that we sent you at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. And thank you to our friends at Aura for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show. All right, guys. With that down, let's go over and start taking your questions that you guys have been sending in during the show. Jonathan, what we got up first?
First up, we got Dynamite. Says, 1 and 2, hey, John, my name is Angel, and I met you at the Orlando movie meetup. I was the one wearing all my Deadpool gear, and you were kind enough to take, let's see if I can find, I don't see the other thing, but I'm assuming a picture with him.
Well, I remember that. Like had this big, huge Deadpool gear on and all that kind of stuff. Again, I just got to say it was such a privilege to be there at that meetup. We had such a great time. Everybody there was so nice. And I remember meeting you, and thank you so much for being there for that. All right, what's next?
Amin says YouTube just rolled out their new recap feature like Spotify Wrapped. Turns out I'm in the top 0.06 or 0.6 of your viewers. Thanks for everything, John.
Yeah, you know what? It's crazy. I've been having the last 24 hours or so many people have been sending us these badges they've been getting both from Spotify and from YouTube, showing that they're in the top 5%, top 1%, top 0.5%, whatever, of viewers that the John Campea Show was the #1 listened to podcast they have. Again, Spotify sent us badges the other day. Let me see if I can find it here. If I can, I'm going to bring it up. Give me one quick second. But Spotify sent me 2 badges. Here they are.
We don't need no stinking badges.
Spotify sent the 1 badge saying that the John Campea Show was the #1 listened to podcast for over 17,000 Spotify users. Not that 17,000 Spotify users listened to our podcast, but that we were their #1 podcast, over 17,000 of them. And then for a second year in a row, they sent us this other badge that showed that the John Campea Show, which we also put up the video version on Spotify, we were in the top 1% of all video shows on Spotify. That's the second year in a row we've done that. So a big thank you to everybody for sending me those things they've been getting. And thank you to everybody who's helped us do so well on Spotify. And once again, maybe you watch our show on YouTube on a regular basis. Make sure you go. It helps us out. Go and subscribe to our audio podcast just in case you need an audio version only over on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And go do that for us. That'd be great. All right. What's next?
All right. Yeah, I didn't mean. Aiden says, so great to finally meet you in Orlando, John. Sorry if I seemed a bit weird. I was just very starstruck to see you in person. Bring on the filthy.
I've been completely overwhelmed because without facetiousness, you guys know, like a few months before we started the movie meetups, my expectation and my hope was at these movie meetups, like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people would show up. And we get to hang out afterwards, just talk about the movie, have a fun little time. Instead, we're walking into full theaters, which has been just insane. It's been so great. And so big thank you for coming out, and a thank you to everybody who has been coming out. Looking forward to our one in Burbank for Five Nights at Freddy's 2 on Tuesday.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
All right, what's next?
Okay. AL, favorite ride at Epic Universe?
I think Anne's was The one that isn't, they have one ride at Epic Universe that's in the middle of it. So it's not in any one of the individual universes. Like it's not in the Harry Potter one. It's not in the Monsters one. It's not in the How to Train Your Dragon one. And it's not in the Nintendo one. It's right in the middle. It's like a double coaster where two of them are going at the same time and cross with each other. And look, that's Anne's. Mine was actually the Donkey Kong ride in the Nintendo world. That was actually, I had a lot of fun with this. All the animatronics they had with it and everything like that. That was kind of my favorite. All right. Oh, thank you. Yes. Anthony in the live chat is saying that it was called the Stardust Racers. That's the one that Anne rode. And that was her favorite one.
Did you see they're building the Fast and Furious ride at the...
I've heard that. I didn't see anything of it myself, but I heard about that.
Yeah. At the LA unit. Well, the actual Universal Studios. Zach, Pasta Sauce Walters. Do I want to know how you got that name? Over under 85% that K-pop Demon Hunters, if nominated for Best Song, will perform at the Oscars. Considering they literally played at the Macy's Day Parade, I would definitely say it's high.
Oh, it's 100%. Look,
yeah.
They have always had the Best Song nominees be played. They've adapted it to now where they sometimes do a medley of them.
Right.
But listen, I honestly would not be surprised at all if the Oscars kicked off with them doing Golden. I really would. I mean, because look, it's not just a majorly popular movie. I believe Golden is the #1 song of the year. Movies are not. I think it's the #1 song of the year. So I wouldn't be surprised. So it's definitely going to be performed, whether it's going to be performed in its entirety or a shortened version as a part of a medley. Whether it's going to be performed near the beginning of the show as a standalone thing or not, I don't know, but it's 100% that it will in some form be performed at the Oscars. No doubt. All right. What's next?
Patrick says, I came across a show on Netflix yesterday called The Last Samurai, and what an awesome show. It's like a mix of Shogun and Battle Royale. Never heard of this show before, but I'm glad I came across it. I found out about it.
Was Tom Cruise in it?
No.
Because that's different.
This is Last Samurai Standing is actually what it's called.
Oh, okay, Last Samurai. I have not heard of this.
And I added it to my queue, and I just watched the trailer, and it looks amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds interesting.
It's basically they call all of these samurais in the land to this area, and it's like this big game, and they're like, well, the last samurai standing, so then they just start fighting and everything. But then there's more to the story. That's just like in the trailer.
It sounds like my cup of tea. All right.
It really is like Battle Royale meets Samurai.
All right, what's next?
Okay. X-Men Superfan. Oh, it's a 1 of 2. I don't know who needs to hear this, but part of growing up for me was to understand that both versions of Pride and Prejudice, BBC and Keira Knightley's, were my favorite, and I love them. And I love them both for different reasons. And all I'm saying is it's okay to have two favorites for different reasons. Like you can have Henry's Superman and David's be your favorites. That's okay. That's right. Anything.
And by the way, there are more versions of Pride and Prejudice.
Oh yeah, they're just more than those two. Yeah.
But no, I've been saying that for ever since the new Superman came out. Yeah, Henry is still my favorite Superman, and Man of Steel is still my favorite Superman movie. But that doesn't exclude me from loving the new one.
Right.
I think David Cornsweet is a great Superman, and I loved the movie. Henry's is still my favorite, but it's not you can only like one thing. No. I love Man of Steel, and I love the new Superman, and that's the thing. You can love both.
Yeah.
You can love more than that, and some people are too simple to understand that.
There are no rules to this, guys. It's just you make up the world that you want to love.
All right, what's next?
Hi, John. This is D. Hi, John. I was in the wheelchair at the Orlando meet. Just wanted to say thank you for your kindness that night. I loved our little chat about Lost. Hey, Lost Boys is always fun to talk about. What was your favorite ride at... Oh, we just answered the Epic. Just curious.
Yeah, I remember meeting you. That was great, and it was so cool to talk about Lost Boys. I don't get a chance to talk about Lost Boys very much. Again, my favorite ride of Epic was that Donkey Kong ride, the roller coaster in Nintendo. It was just, again, it was the mixture of the animatronics and the theme of it. And it's got this thing that it really gets you. As you're riding this roller coaster, it kind of reminds me of an Indiana Jones ride, but it does it way better than the Indiana Jones ride does. As you're going through the roller coaster, it hits these parts where it looks like the track is broken.
Oh, wow.
And like it gets you for a split second,
right,
like, and then it like curves and whatever. It was a really fun little ride. I had a really good time.
Nice.
All right, what's next?
Robert says, I won't be surprised if we get a The Shop reference appearance in Welcome to Derry. It would fit into the military government aspect of the show, and that would connect to other things.
Yeah, you know what? I finally got caught up on Pluribus.
Uh-huh.
Because remember, I fell behind on a couple of shows because of the tour, the
Right.
movie meetup tour. And I am still behind on Welcome to Derry. I have still only seen the first 2 episodes. I haven't tapped out of it. I just haven't gotten around.
Right.
So I also fell behind on Welcome to Pluribus. I also fell behind on Pluribus,
Nice.
but I got caught up on it the other night. Gotta say, I'm getting kind of bored of it. I love the first 2 episodes of Pluribus, but episodes 3, 4, and 5 are a slog, man. They are hard to get through. They're so slow and boring, but who knows? We'll see where that goes. But I do need to get caught up on Welcome to Derry, and I will over the next couple of days. All right, what's next?
X-Men Superfan says, in your opinion, are the best Meryl Streep performances? For me, it's Sophie's Choice, Devil Wears Prada, and Bridges of Madison.
Yeah, no, it starts and ends with Sophie's Choice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, which is, again, a lot of people today have not watched that movie, and you should. It's one that makes you think and one that makes you feel. And it's where it created the saying Sophie's Choice.
Right, sure.
It's a Sophie's Choice. Like it's such a good, and her performance is kind of like, it's one of her crown jewels. I mean, she's great in everything, but that's kind of one of her crown jewels.
Yeah. I would say just because like growing up, as I started getting into cinema and I got into her career and whatever, I would say The Deer Hunter was the first thing that sparked my like, wow, this person's great. Cause I was just getting like, I was young, as a teenager,
Yeah.
you know?
All right. What's next?
Let's see. We got X-Men says, who do you prefer, Evelyn O'Connor, Rachel Weisz, or Maria Bello? For what?
I mean, they're both for the character in The Mummy, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, remember, I'm not saying who I like overall better. It's like, who do I like better in that? I think I like Rachel Weisz a little bit better, though. Maria Bello's awesome. All right, what's next?
Richard Barclay says, hi, John. Amazon has announced a new Stargate show.
Yeah, I can pretend I'm interested, but I'm not. And I say that as somebody who loved the original Stargate show. I love with Richard Dean Anderson, and I loved the original show. I'm going to need to see. I'm not, listen, straight up, I'm not going to be excited or look forward to this new one at all. I don't have any interest. Now, it can win me over, but let's talk about it once we start getting some material out for it, which is a long ways off. But once we do, maybe then I'll reevaluate. All right, what's next?
Joe says, hot take. Last time, this is in quotation. So last time I Seen the Sun is the best original song of the year and will win the Oscar. I'm guessing that's from Sinners.
I'm trying to remember what song that was. Now, that's not the Daddy, I'm Sorry, Papa, I'm Sorry
No, I
song,
don't
right?
think so.
And I don't think that's, maybe it's the one that they sing. Because if that's, I don't know the title of it, but the song in Sinners, when all the vampires are outside and they're doing the circle and dancing
Yeah.
and singing that Irish
Yeah.
jig song, that song's awesome. And it does what a good song in a movie's supposed to do. It's supposed to heighten the movie itself. Like there are great songs. Most songs that get nominated for best song in a movie are just songs that get dropped in the end credits.
Right.
They're pointless. They don't do anything for the movie. That song's one. So if that's a song you're talking about, yeah, I totally see it getting nominated. 100% I think it gets nominated.
Attack of the Mushi says, does Iron Man have the weakest MCU trilogy?
Well, how many? So there's the Thor,
Captain America, Spider-Man, technically.
technically Spider-Man.
Um,
Which one was Thor: Love and Thunder? Was that 3?
Thor: Love and Thunder was 4.
Was 4?
Yeah, wasn't it? Because it's Thor, and then there was the Dark World,
Yeah.
and then there was Thor, the one where him and Loki are in the arena with Hulk.
That's not Ragnarok?
Ragnarok, and then Love and Thunder is the 4th.
Okay, yeah, Ragnarok. So Ragnarok is the 3rd.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you count those 3, but you don't count Love and Thunder as
Yeah.
the 4th, yeah.
Then yes, the Iron Man one is the weakest of the 3.
Mhm.
And which is funny because the first Iron Man is one of the strongest individual movies out of any of them.
Yeah.
But Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3, particularly Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2 is just, I'm sorry, it's just not good. You may like it. It's all subjective. My opinion is no more or less valid than yours, but I really thought Iron Man 2 was pretty weak. Iron Man 3 was better.
I liked Iron Man 3.
But you know what? You might have to say Ant-Man might be the weakest. I like 2 out of the 3. I only really liked 1 out of the 3 Iron Man movies. So I'm not going to, it's between Iron Man and Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Though it's between those two. I think that's a close race, which is the weakest of the trilogy. Because I loved Ant-Man 1, and I quite enjoyed Ant-Man 2, not as much as Ant-Man 1. Ant-Man 3, Quantumania was so bad. It's the worst out of them.
I love that they could just they weren't like insecure about themselves. Like they could be smaller stories, and that was fine in the MCU. And he didn't have to be saving the world.
Yeah. All right, what's next?
Let's see. Ajay. Hey John, Epic Universe is my favorite park. Monsters Unchained and Stardust Racers are amazing. And Isle of Berk is easily the best land. What are your favorite rides and overall thoughts on the park? A lot of you are asking.
Yeah, I've already talked about my favorite rides, but my overall favorite part of the park was actually Berk.
What is that?
It was the How to Train Your Dragon world.
Oh,
the
right,
Isle
yes.
of Berk.
Yes.
You know, when in Hollywood, in LA, when you go to Universal Studios Hollywood and you walk into the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, you walk into Harry Potter Land. Listen, I like Galaxy's Edge, Star Wars Land at Disneyland. But the Harry Potter world at Disney World,
Yeah.
when you or at Universal Studios Hollywood, when you walk into that, you are, here's the overused word, but it's true, immersed into the world of Harry Potter.
Well,
You feel like you are in
yeah.
the Harry Potter movies. And I gotta say, I thought Berk, the How to Train Your Dragon world at Universal in Florida, I thought it matched that.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. Now, the Harry Potter, it's actually the How to Train or Fantastic Beasts.
Right.
Because it's more like 1920s, 1930s France, but it was wonderful. The Monsters section is wonderful. The Nintendo one in Florida is way better than the one here in Hollywood. But I got to say, I think the How to Train Your Dragon one was my favorite.
Nice.
All right, what's next?
Sir Z, John, your show was my #1 in my YouTube 25 review, 426 views over the year.
Wow. Thank you so much for that, man. Again, big thank you to all you guys, both on Spotify and on YouTube, who supported us this year. Big, big, big thanks. All right, what's next?
X-Men Superfan says, whenever I watch the OG Charles and Eric, Patrick and Ian from the trilogy, I see that Magneto and Professor X behave like bitter exes that made their breakup the problem of all mutantdom.
Well, I mean, in a way it is. They were best friends. The future's ours, Charles, not theirs.
Couldn't that be ascribed to Obi-Wan and Anakin?
Yeah,
then?
maybe not quite. That was more mentor-mentee relationship.
Well, that's true.
But yeah, it is kind of like that.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
We were brothers. Joseph, I have now watched all 97 Oscar Best Picture winners. Most pleasant surprise was The Sting, and most relatable was Marty. That's interesting.
I have not seen Marty.
Ernest Borgnine. It was a very fine affair. Yeah, that's a great movie.
That's one I've never seen.
Yeah.
And I love Ernest Borgnine. You know, John Schnepp told this story. Ernest Borgnine was a god. He was so good. So good. But it tells you, and he was way before my time, but he's so good. Even I, of course, know as a film fan, know and appreciate and love Ernest Borgnine. There was, I can't remember which one it was now, but there was some comic pop cultural convention going on. And at one of the tables was Ernest Borgnine. And nobody was lined up. Nobody was at his table. And it's like, what the hell? That's Ernest frickin' Borgnine is there. This is back when he was alive, obviously.
Yeah.
And
I would hope.
Oh my God. I just could not believe that. Anyway.
I mean, yeah. They talk about just Hollywood legend. Come on.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
Joseph. No, not Joseph. X-Men Superfan. I don't want Netflix to win. I want Paramount to lose. Putting it that way.
Yeah. Again, listen, what the hell were they thinking sending out that letter?
Bush
Again,
League.
they managed to do something that nobody outside of themselves could do. They turned me from kind of cheering for them to absolutely now anybody but Netflix or anybody but Paramount.
I'm just perplexed that a corporation would behave that way
I just don't
in a
get
business deal.
You literally took like one, again, I'm just one fan. I'm just one individual movie fan. I mean nothing in the grand scheme, but like you managed to take one movie fan who was literally on your side and you turned me against you because you're so stupid.
It's almost like they just felt they were the shoe-in for it, and how could anyone else win? And when they realized, wait, we might not.
Like
It's
this
like they
isn't
just
like a
lost it.
petulant child. Wait a
Yeah.
minute, this isn't just going to be given to me. I don't know. This letter was a really bad look on Paramount, like a really, really bad look on them. And listen. I'm not going to bury somebody for doing one enormously stupid thing, right? Everybody has their bad days where they do something really stupid. So I'm not going to like say from now on, I hate Paramount forever. No. But when it comes to this particular event, when it comes to this particular circumstance of who's going to win Warner Brothers, I am now actively cheering against them when I was on their side 24 hours ago. And now I'm completely against them. But I
Yeah.
don't know. Not that it matters.
Come on, Comcast, what do you got?
All right, what's next?
X-Men says, do you think Emma Stone could rise to the level of a Diane Lane or Viola Davis or Meryl Streep? She keeps getting better and better.
She's multiple
Yes.
Academy Award.
Yes.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
You can make an argument she's already superseded them.
I would say she's up there.
Yeah, she's already there.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
We got Seconds from Disaster. After various roles in Castle Rock, the female Ghostbusters last season of Walking Dead, and others, my buddy Mike Randazzi's, I can't pronounce that, sorry, became an official member of SAG last week. Huge accomplishment at 40.
It ain't easy to
That's
get into
awesome.
SAG, because to get into the Screen Actors Guild, you have to have a certain amount of credits and all that kind of stuff. Then eventually you can qualify to be. It's not like you just show up and go, I want to be in SAG. It's not that easy. It takes some work. So congratulations for him for making that accomplishment. That's
He's
great.
in great company now, like Paul Dano.
Like Paul Dano, weakest of the. You'll always
SAG.
know at least your buddy's not going to be the weakest actor in SAG because Quentin Tarantino tells us that's Paul Dano.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
I had to call and tell one of my friends, I'm like, dude, you're not the worst anymore.
Oh,
Fried cheese macaroni ball. You sound delicious. I buy popcorn just to get through the commercials. A lot of people end up finishing their popcorn before the movie starts.
it's 100% true. Now that kind of stopped for me because I try not to show up while the trailers are still playing. I tried to not walk into the theater until after the trailers are done. But yeah, I listen, the reality is I don't even eat a lot of the popcorn. I always get a large popcorn because I'm paying the price of a medium for
Yeah,
it.
you get the upgrade.
And at most, I normally get through half.
Oh, I get sick of it.
Sometimes a third to half. I get through it, and then I'm good. But I have to have it. That's the thing. I'm just restless in my chair in the movie theater if I don't have my popcorn. So I always at least got to have it. All right, what's next?
X-Men says, this is talking about the Wonder Woman rumor. Or it can be another Wonder Woman love interest like Trevor Barnes or Tom Tesser, although they might go with the girlfriend route and make her date Kessia at the beginning.
Again, this isn't for a Wonder Woman movie. It's for
Yeah.
a Superman movie, so I don't really see the point of that.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Mexican Dicer says, will you ever do a Phoenix meetup?
Already have.
Yeah, you did.
One of
That
our
got
very,
me-
I think
That was early on.
I think it was our very first movie meetup was a Phoenix meetup. That was our very first one like 2 months ago. So we were already there, my friend. All right, what's next?
John Darius. Hey, everyone. Happy holidays. Is there a pretty good chance that Scarlett Johansson has up for the Phantasm or is up for the role probably of Phantasm in Batman 2? And will Reeves' film be safe to finish and release despite the WB
Oh yeah,
sale?
listen, whenever there's a takeover that happens, things in progress finish out. Like you got to remember, this has happened with a lot of other things too. Business continues on.
Right.
It continues on. So whether Netflix gets it or NBC Universal Comcast gets it, or if the Warner Brothers Discovery shareholders ultimately decide, you know what? Nah, we're good. We're just going to keep going the way we are, which is what the shareholders can say if they want. either way, yeah, that project, it's going to be business as usual. It's too far along now, especially if they start filming. It's too far along now. It's definitely, and again, for the record, I don't think it's going to be Phantasm. I think that's an interesting idea, but I don't think that's the way. I don't think that fits into the kind of mold Matt Reeves is doing. It's not impossible though, so we'll see. All right, what's next?
Jared says, I don't know how I feel about this, but I just watched the trailer for a remake of The Burbs. It'll be turned into a series for Peacock. That's news to me.
I had not heard of that. Of course, the original one, Tom Hanks.
Mm-hmm.
And was it the girl from Cheers? Was that? No. That was Money Pit. That the girl who played Diane in Cheers was in.
No, it was Princess Leia. Was his wife.
Was it Carrie Fisher?
Carrie Fisher.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I didn't even hear about this. I didn't know that they were relaunching. They're trying to do a redo of the verbs. The burbs. The verbs are coming. Run. Get it? Okay, anyway. All right, what's next?
I came with the frame, huh, laddie? X-Men superfan. Who do you think would be a better backbone for the DCU? Grillo's Rick Flag Sr. or Viola Davis,
Neither.
Amanda Waller?
Honestly, I don't think either of them are a good choice.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
And then our final. Wait, let me refresh because I think I might have refreshed it before. Okay, yeah. So there's two more. So X-Men says in a follow-up, what tone would the Wonder Woman film be if she's both a champion of peace and warrior, and she's an inspiring character all around? How could that be translated?
Neither might be true. She may neither be. They may not say she's both. They may, like, if you look at Injustice: Gods Among Us, she's definitely one.
Right.
So it really all depends on how they want the character to do. The answer is there is no such thing as what should it be. There's a lot of different ways they can go with Wonder Woman. She's been done many different ways in the comics and the subsequent other media kind of stories. So I'm just going to be interested to see which way they go with her.
And then finally, from Seconds from Disaster, if you haven't watched She Rides Shotgun yet, you're missing out. What a good movie. And the little girl was phenomenal.
Yeah, this is the one with the guy from Kingsman. What's his name again? And he was in the Tetris movie. And he was in...
I'm looking it up right now.
He was in Eddie the Eagle.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Why am I freezing on his name? I can tell you everything he's been in, and I'm freezing on his name.
Taron Egerton.
Taron Egerton. Thank you. That's the one with Taron Egerton, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember the trailer looked great. And I didn't even... I totally missed it when it came out. I have not seen it.
I had never heard about it. I'm just looking at IMDb.
Well, I remember we talked about it on the show once. The trailer came out, and the
Shotgun.
trailer was really good.
Uh-huh.
But I like it so quietly sneaked into theaters and
2025
quietly
too,
snuck out, and I never got around to seeing it.
Huh.
But I've heard it's good, and I'll definitely check it out when I get a chance.
There you go. Then that was the last one.
All right, guys, that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here, making our little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in the questions. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported our channel as you did it. And all of us involved with the show, thank you guys so very much for your support. Hey guys, don't forget to come on back and join us again tomorrow. We'll look forward to seeing you then. So for writer, director, producer Robert Meyer Burnett, our technical producer Jonathan Voico.
I'm going to go write a strongly worded letter to WB.
My name's John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.